Welcome back to this channel. Today we talk about robotics and its future. But in recent years it has really grown a lot. All the technology companies are working on it, from Elon Musk with Tesla to Apple, the famous Boston Dynamics, a lot of companies in China. But before seeing all these prototypes, let's talk for a moment about the concept of robots. By robot, we mean a machine that can move with great degrees of freedom in three-dimensional space connected to a computer, which gives more or less simple instructions. And so far we are interesting because the word robot comes from this writer named Karel Čapek, who was blind, in the sense that he was from the Blind Republic, who wrote a play with moving machines called Robots. In the last 100 years, between films, cartoons, TV series and much more, we have been bombarded with robots. And this has contributed to the fact that when we think we have robot, let's think of something that has the shape of a human, that moves in a strange way, and that acts as an assistant for us humans. But robots have been machines for specific uses, such as the classic robot arms in car assembly lines, robots that move things in warehouses automatically and intelligently. But we are always talking about industrial uses. Outside the factories, the situation is a little different. Yes, there are tracked robots. Perhaps for emergency or military uses, or in some parts of the world also for delivery, and they are already part of our lives. The question, however, is why on earth design a robot that has the shape of a human or a super complex thing? With the risk of harming us, Leonardo da Vinci also thought about robots, but obviously he didn't. There's also an interesting story about a robot capable of playing chess. Maybe we'll see it later. But in this era, we started to see the first slightly timid attempts of these walking bipedal things that were in balance, but which was quite ridiculous now seen, like the first robot toys I wanted made by Honda. The Japanese were super ahead as far as the robotics. They still are, but imagine this business back in the day. The moral of the story, the two biggest problems have always been the mechanical technical part. And now, with the whole series of new actuators, motors, materials, batteries, all the new motors that exist are starting to be feasible and buildable also on a large scale. And then the software part. Because if you have to program a robot arm on an assembly line, it's not very easy for you to say, take this, move it here, do this, and you're there. If instead you have to program a humanoid robot to make it do infinite, potentially different tasks, and above all, where every time there is a different variable. What do I know if you have to cook the food has some small different shape every time? Well, we humans recognize without problems pattern, take, cut. Let's make a robot instead. It is stupid by its nature, or rather it was stupid. There are also those who do not support robots and that this is the future. But those who support it are basically saying it, we live in a world built by humans and therefore designed for humans. Consequently, though our anthropological structure is perhaps not the best for moving quickly to lift so many weights, for jumping and climbing, clear that a robot with wheels will probably always go faster than a humanoid robot that runs, but we actually live in a world built for people with this shape here, the structures, the tools, and modestly as humans, in the end it's not that we're that bad, but above all we know how to do things, which is no small feat, because potentially there could be one better form also for doing many generic things, but then it could paradoxically be much more. It's complex to understand how to make them do all the various things, whereas with humanoid robots that's basically enough making them copy, is teaching them to do everything we can do, and then thanks to high performance engines, thank you to the fact that having no joints but being able to do 1,000 different things, they can move with anchor, more freedom than we basically improve everything we do with our stupid muscles and stupid meat. But then at this point, let's see concretely what's out there, starting from the one that, when we talk about robots, is certainly the company that comes to everyone's mind, Boston Dynamics, which for those who don't know, is owned by the Korean company Hyundai that we all know. For the robot dogs, the yellow ones, all the super mega cool videos where they dance, sing, jump, and then all the various Chinese companies like in this case Unitry, have copied and made cheaper versions here in parallel with dogs. They have also developed bipedal robots capable of walking. The first prototypes were quite ridiculous, also because we are talking about tens of years ago. There were no electric motors capable of such high performance, so they were used hydraulic systems. But you see that evolution after evolution. What was initially a simple contraption that could barely stand upright first became a robot able to run, jump, do parkour, pick up objects, and move around nonchalantly in space. And then with the brand new Atlas, it became this super creepy stuff, no longer hydraulic but electric, which is really starting to be something absurd, super powerful, super articulated. But unfortunately for the moment, in addition to this video, we have very little news, so we'll see what he can do. So let's move on to Tesla, which a few years ago had announced Optimus, the humanoid robot, enabled to help everyone in the homes. Elon Musk is a huge supporter of this. What even claims that Tesla shouldn't be considered a car company but of robotics, and that in the future these robots will become increasingly accessible and cost-effective, even less than a car. Everyone in the house will have at least one, but also 2 or 3, who will help us with all the household chores, and according to him, it will be normal now. Surely Elon is someone who does so. Certainly, from a financial point of view, he wants to sell a dream to the shareholders who they are investing tons of money in Tesla. But you can love it, you can hate it. Elon Musk tends to be, in terms of vision, often at a certain point he gets it right. And Tesla is really working on it. The first version was quite embarrassing stuff. Even in a demo, it wasn't a robot, but there was a little man inside it, jumped out. But Generation 2 has already arrived in 2023 and is starting to be interesting. Obviously, in addition to the movements, there is the whole question of the cameras with which to map the entire surrounding environment, and then go and do all those that are the homework. And apparently very fresh news in a Tesla factory. There are already 2 operational Optimus who are doing something very advanced. Would have already said that even next year there could already be the first prototypes on sale to the general public. It takes them years and years and years when they have to market a car. Think of the Cybertruck, which was supposed to come out like the following year. In reality there, it took 4 years. So by nose, I would say that it will take much longer, but they are really working on it. Even if there are still a lot of challenges. Elon, for example, in another interview explained how the hands, paradoxically, are one of the most difficult things to develop. Both for a mechanical question, we have a lot of degrees of freedom in the fingers, a lot of power, and the cool thing is that in Tesla, they really had to mechanically copy how our hand works. We don't have the muscles in the fingers, in the hand, but we have the muscles in the forearm. Then through the tendons, we are able to move the fingers. This is because there wasn't physically all this space here, and therefore in the Optimus hand they are trying to reproduce this extra thing. Let's not forget that in addition to our eyes and ears, which paradoxically are the things we can most easily replace with better performing cameras compared to our eyes and microphones capable of hearing better than the ears, we have all over the skin, all over the body, infinite nerve endings with pressure, temperature, humidity sensors, and our hands from this point of view are truly something unique and very difficult to replicate. That's all for today. We'll see you in the next video. See you soon.